The Targaryens and the Doom of Valyria. The Targaryens were not always the dragon lords of Westeros. Once they were but one of the 40 great families of Valyria, the freehold that ruled half the known world with dragons and sorcery. Valyria was a city of marvels, its towers rising like melted stone, its streets paved with fireglass, its skies darkened by the wings of dragons. For 5,000 years, the Valyrians expanded across Essos, conquering with fire and blood. Their power seemed eternal, but not all within Valyria believed it would last. Daenerys the Dreamer. A century before the Doom, a young maiden named Daenerys Targaryen, daughter of Lord Enar Targaryen, began to have visions. She dreamed of mountains exploding, rivers of fire swallowing cities, and dragons screaming as the sky turned to ash. She told her father that Valyria would be destroyed. Most dismissed her as a child touched by madness. But Lord Enar listened. Against the mockery of other dragon lords, he gathered his family, his wealth, his 5 dragons, including Balerion, still young at the time, and sailed west. Their destination was the volcanic island of Dragonstone, a bleak outpost on the edge of the narrow sea, long held as a Valyrian foothold near Westeros. While other dragon lords sneered at his cowardice, Enar and his house abandoned the freehold. The Doom of Valyria. 12 years later, Daenerys' prophecy came true. In a single day, Valyria was destroyed. The 14 flames, the chain of volcanic mountains that fed Valyrian power, erupted all at once. Earthquakes shattered the freehold. Seas boiled and rivers of fire consumed entire cities. Dragons, thousands of them, perished in flame and ash. Sorceries that had bound Valyria together unraveled, tearing the land apart. The freehold was no more. The greatest empire in the history of the known world was gone, leaving only smoldering ruins and the smoking wasteland that came to be called the Doom of Valyria. The last dragon lords. Of all the dragon lords, only a handful survived, and only one family carried both dragons and a stronghold beyond the Doom, the Targaryens. From Dragonstone, they watched the fall of Valyria and knew they had been spared by dream and fate. Daenerys was called the Dreamer, and her line was forever marked as chosen by prophecy. For over a century, the Targaryens remained on Dragonstone, rulers of a bleak island, but keepers of the last living dragons. Among them was Balerion the Black Dread, who grew to monstrous size, along with younger dragons like Vhagar and Meraxes. Why Westeros? The answer lay in Aegon himself. By the time of his rule, the Targaryens had lived on Dragonstone for more than 100 years. They were isolated, fewer in number, but still with weapons no other house possessed. Aegon looked west across the narrow sea to the 7 kingdoms,